Hey guys, welcome back. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Rosalia Simone, and today I am going to be doing my first trimester update. It's been a while. As of now, I am 22 weeks and 3 days. So it's been a while. I've been wanting to do this video for a really long time, but it just hasn't worked out just because I am high risk. I've been through a lot in my pregnancy, so I haven't had the chance. But here I am today to do this update, and it's gonna be like a update kind of like story time. Just because I've been through like so much in my pregnancy, and I definitely want to share with you guys because maybe you guys are also going through it, or know somebody that's going through similar. So I do want to share. It might be a little long, so I apologize, but I will be doing so. It's going to be my first trimester, and then I will have my other one for now, like my second trimester, because I'm not done with my second trimester, but I will do like from like 13 weeks to like about 18 weeks, and then I'll do another one, and then it'll just be like, it'll be up to date. So here we go. We're gonna start with when I found out I was pregnant. Sorry, my dog is like on the side, but she's jumping, so if you guys hear noise in the background, that's my dog. I say this in all my videos because my dog is always with me. I'm always home, so yeah, so let's start. I do have notes down since it has been like a few months, and I am really bad at like writing things down. I do not write things down, so I had to like actually go through my stuff so I can have like the exact dates to share with you guys. So I am going to start with when I found out I was pregnant. So I was not planning for this pregnancy. Honestly, it's like baby is moving. So like I've had a lot of accidents, and it was just like to that point that I was just like, all right, I can't get pregnant, whatever. I found out I was pregnant was like the day I found out was May 12th. So May 12th I found out I was pregnant, and May 12th was Mother's Day. So I couldn't have gotten the better gift for Mother's Day than knowing I was pregnant. It's just so weird how it happened. I was supposed to get my period on May 8th or May 9th. I know when I took the test, I was like 4 days late. So, and I started noticing I didn't have any like symptoms that I was like pregnant or whatever. The only thing I did notice was that I was very sentimental. I know a day before I took my pregnancy test, it was a Saturday before I took my test on Sunday morning. And on that Saturday, I know I was cleaning my house, and I was just like, you know what, my period didn't come. If it doesn't come until tomorrow, I'm just gonna take a pregnancy test just to take it out of the way, just so I know like I'm not pregnant. I don't have to be thinking about it. I honestly thought it was just like stress and stuff. And I was like cleaning my house, and I don't know, like my husband was like really not doing anything, but it got me like, I was just so sentimental. I was crying basically all night on Saturday. I don't know why, but it was just like anything my husband would do would just make me cry. So like I was just so pissed at him, and I was just like, whatever. So the next day, like it was Mother's Day, and I was still kind of mad at him. And I woke up in the morning, he was on the phone with his mom. And of course, if you guys already saw my announcement, you guys already know that he was on the phone with his mom and stuff like that. And if you haven't watched our announcement video, I will leave the link down below so you guys could go check it out. So I've just ran downstairs and I took the test. It was just like very like shocking. We were crying and all that, so it was very exciting. But so I found out on that May 12th, I found out. So that week, that's when, after I found out, that's when I actually like started feeling things. Like my chest was like, so when I found out, it was like, I was 4 weeks and 5 days. Yeah, it was 4 weeks and 5 days. And I was so excited. So yeah, so I was 4 weeks and 5 days, and that's when I like that week I actually started feeling like symptoms. Like I started having like a little cravings, not cravings like oh my god like I really need it, but it was just like in the morning like I needed to eat like my bread with ham and cheese. And I know that you guys, I know you're not supposed to eat ham and cheese, but that's like if it's cold, but I like it heated up. Like I wanted it like heated up, like my cheese melted, the ham was warmed up and all of that. So I needed that in the morning with my orange juice every day that whole week. And like if I wouldn't eat right away, like as soon as I woke up, like I had to eat, or else I would get so nauseous. But it wasn't like, it was only for like that 1 week that I was like that, because like I really was never nauseous. I was never like sick, like throwing up or anything for my, I never threw up. So my whole first trimester, I never threw up. And it was just that week, like I would wake up and I would have to eat like right away, or else I would be so nauseous. So that's really what I would eat that week. And I started having like cramps, like period cramps that whole week. So it was like my 5th week, and I was having like major pain, like not pain, but like period cramps, like if I was to have my period. So on that, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, since I do have a bicoordinate uterus, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, on that Monday, I called my doctor. Sorry, my lighting keeps changing because I'm actually using like the light from outside. And it's probably like the angle that I'm sitting, like the lighting is just not that perfect. But so that Monday, as soon as it hit Monday, I called and I tried to make an appointment. Of course, they only make appointments like more when you're like 8 weeks pregnant, just because that 8 weeks you can hear a heartbeat and stuff like that. So they usually make an appointment like towards that 7th or 8th week. So they made an appointment for me at 7 weeks. But and since I am I have a bicoordinate uterus, automatically once I get pregnant, I am completely high risk. Like I'm considered high risk right away. So and I always have to like notify my doctor as soon as I get pregnant, so I can be checked more often than regular pregnant women would. So so I didn't notify them that I was pregnant. I made my appointment, but like towards Wednesday, my cramps were getting like really bad, and I was like feeling the cramps and like major pressure. So I started getting worried because like since I've had past miscarriages and I had my son that was still it was a stillbirth, and he only lasted 2 hours. Like everything was just like anything that I would feel was just like it would make me panic. So since I was feeling all those cramps and that pressure, I did call the doctor, but my doctor was actually on vacation. So we do have a nurse there, and I did speak to the nurse, and I did tell her like what I was feeling. Sorry, not on Wednesday, it was actually on that Thursday. And she did say it could be like a UTI. I could have a UTI. So she just basically said, you know, if you have it, you just need to, you can go to an urgent care and just take a test, or you could just drive over here and do a test here. So, I just figured I would go there on, I think it was on Friday. So I drove over there on Friday, and I just peed on the cup and found out that, you know, like it wasn't showing that I was having a UTI. So, but they did send it to the lab just to confirm it. And so on Monday, I think it was Monday. Yeah, Monday it came back that I didn't have a UTI. So, so I wasn't sure why I was having so much pressure, and cramping. And usually they say it's normal when you have cramping at the beginning, because it says like your body's getting used to the pregnancy and you're your uterus is expanding and all of that. So, but because of my history, I just panicked with everything. So I was 6 weeks the following week. At 6 weeks, which was it was on Tuesday, which was May. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, so May 21st was a Tuesday, and I like, so May 21st, it was a Tuesday, and I was still cramping, and I still had that pressure and everything, but I just like thought it was normal since I didn't have a UTI or whatever. And at night, like, I was getting ready to do my paparazzi lives, because I do sell paparazzi jewelry, and I used to do my lives, and I was getting ready to go live, and I felt like I was a little wet before I went live, and I ran to the bathroom and I was bleeding. So all of a sudden I started bursting crying. Like, I started crying. I just thought everything was happening again. I said, like, I'm losing this baby, like, this is all happening again. And I was just like, I have to go to the hospital. And I had like little clogs come out. So I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? So when I got when I went to the hospital, I called my husband, and like, he was home, so I told him, like, we need to go, like, I'm bleeding. I started crying. My sister was crying, like, and we went to the hospital. As soon as I got to the hospital, obviously I put a pad, and once I got to the hospital, like, I went to the bathroom, and I wasn't bleeding as much anymore. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So what happened was, I got inside and I wasn't bleeding that much, but I was already there. So that day at the hospital, it was an experience that it was just like not a good experience. They really didn't pay no mind to you. I feel like every time you're in like your first couple of weeks, it's like they're really not so like concerned, because automatically, like, you're bleeding, you're only 6 weeks, you're having a miscarriage, so they really don't care. That's how I feel. I don't know if all of you guys that have been through it feel like that, but that's how I feel. And so they really didn't do much. They just told me to, like, wait, whatever. I was gonna go do an ultrasound, and I did the ultrasound, and like, I waited, and then I went to do the ultrasound, and there was a heartbeat. And I was so shocked that at 6 weeks you could actually hear a heartbeat. But I was so excited, the baby was okay. There was a heartbeat. And I just couldn't, like, I was like, okay, but why am I bleeding? Like, it wasn't a lot, but I had gone through this before. So to me, it was like, oh man, here we go. So I was just like, okay, we're going to go through this all over again. And it's just like, it sucks. But whatever. I was happy that everything was okay. I called my doctor the following day, and I told them that I was at the hospital and everything. So I did go to the doctor. Like, I can't remember what day I went to the doctor, but I know I went to the doctor. And then, like, the following week, on the I can't remember if it was the 25th or 26th. So I had gone the 21st to the hospital because it was bleeding. So 4 days later, or 4 or 5 days later, I started bleeding again. And I think it was like on Saturday. I think it was a Saturday that I went, and I was bleeding again, and everything was okay again. Like, baby was okay. And I couldn't, like, nobody knew why I was bleeding. But after that 21st, sorry, I'm like all over the place. I'm trying to think correct, like, because it's been so long. So it's like I'm trying to think exactly, like, everything that happened, like, in order, but like whatever's coming to my mind is what I'm actually telling you, because I can't remember everything in order. But I know after the 21st that I went to the hospital, and the first time we heard the heartbeat, I know, like, I stopped bleeding and it was just like spotting. But then the following day, on the 22nd, I did start bleeding again. So it was like I was actually live, doing my lives on Facebook, and I did feel that I was like wet, and I did go to the bathroom, and I was completely soaked. Like I was bleeding hard, like really hard. And I started having cramping and everything, but of course I played it out. I tried to like finish my live without saying anything, because I did not tell nobody I was pregnant for like at least until almost 4 months. I did not tell nobody. Just like the closest family and stuff knew. But I did try to maintain it like as a secret, just because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't want to explain to everybody again, like if we were to miscarry, like, oh, I miscarried again and all of that. So I just try to like keep it to ourselves and whatever. So what happened on the 25th or 26th, I can't remember if it was a Saturday, I went back to the hospital. And I was bleeding, and it came out that I had a UTI. And I had, they didn't know why I was bleeding. That was one thing. They didn't know why I was bleeding or whatever, which I don't know how they didn't know, because they did an ultrasound and they could clearly see what I had was a hemorrhage. And I think that's how you call it, a hemorrhage, or yeah, I think it's something like that. But I'll leave the link down below. I mean the name on the screen, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But the baby was okay. Like I was actually taken care like better at the ER when I went back. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went home, everything was okay, whatever. That weekend was Memorial Day weekend. So that on the sorry, I have my dates here. So on the 27th, I went back to the hospital. So I went there on Saturday. And then on Monday, since it was Memorial Day, we usually go to this like place where it's like, it's close by to us. Like it's, like they have church and stuff. And I really, really wanted to go there that day. And my husband was like, you sure you want to go? You know, you've been bleeding. And I'm like, yes, I really do want to go. And I had like my flowers to take. And I was just like so excited to go. But the ride was a little long since we caught traffic. So we were in the car for 3 hours. And when we got there, since we were like stuck in traffic, like it wasn't like, oh, during like the way there. It was actually when we got to the place, like it was just so much traffic because so many people go. And we were in the car for so long. And I'm there like, I really needed to go to the bathroom. And I was just feeling like I was soaked like with blood. TMI, I'm sorry if you guys don't like to listen to these things, just pass forward, but there's gonna be a lot of TMIs. I'm sorry. So I got up to get out the car a little bit just so I can stand. And as soon as I stood up and I got out of the car, like I felt like this gush just like come down. I'm like, oh my God, like I couldn't even move. And I told my husband, I think I am like soaked in blood. Like it's just like I felt it, like I was all wet, like but with blood. So I sat back down and I'm like, oh my God, like I need to get to a bathroom like quick. So when we finally got to the place, we parked, and like I was in my car with my husband and my mom was in a different car, and we had my aunt, my cousin on a different car. So we all parked basically all like in the same spot. As soon as I got out of the car, I told them like, I need to go. I just took like 2 steps. As soon as I took 2 steps, I felt like this, like more blood just coming down. And I'm like, oh my God, like I am so far away from the hospital. I am like, what's happening to me? I started panicking. I'm like, I definitely lost my baby. Like, I definitely lost my baby. And I told my husband, like, I'm not going to make it to the bathroom. Like, I can't. Like, I will never make it to the bathroom the way I am right now. And luckily, I had black leggings, but it was just so bad. I was just like, I need to like clean myself right now before I get to the bathroom, because I won't make it. Like my pad is completely soaked. Like I need to change right now. So my aunt decided that we had like she had like a cover in her car. So we opened the doors and I was just in between the doors. I was so soaked. My pants were all full of blood. My underwear were full of blood. I am sorry. This is so TMI, but I got it. I'm sharing with you guys what I went through. So, oh, it is a little TMI. But so everything was all soaked with blood, and I tried to clean it, and I was just like, I need a pad. I need to put a pad on, a new pad, so I can run to that bathroom and just sit there and actually clean myself. So I tried to like dry my pants, my leggings, because they were so soaked that I just needed to dry them up. And I did, and I finally, and my mom, thank God, had like a little sweater. So she actually gave me her sweater so I can put it around my waist so I can actually go to the bathroom, because like even though I had black leggings on, you could still like see through it. So I was just like so embarrassing because there was just so many people. There's thousands and thousands of people there, and people that I actually know too. So I walked into that bathroom, and I went into the bathroom. My mom and my aunt came with me because I could barely walk. And so they came inside the actual bathroom with me. And as soon as I sat down, I just saw a big clog of blood just like fall on the toilet. I started crying. I told my mom and my aunt, I was like, this is it. Like I definitely lost the baby now. Like this is probably the baby, because it was so big, and I thought like to myself, like that's the baby. And like my mom and my aunt were trying like to calm me down. They're like, relax, like it probably isn't, just calm down. And I'm like, no, I definitely did. But they were also scared. Like after they told me, they were also scared, and they really did think I had lost the baby, just because they saw the amount of blood I was losing. Because not only with the clogs, but I was also dripping. Like there was blood dripping like a lot. So I was just like, oh my God, like what's going on? And then like I got out, I cleaned myself. My aunt gave me like baby wipes, and I was able to actually like clean up my leggings a little bit and my underwear. And I walked, but like I was losing so much blood that it was making me like very, very weak, and I wasn't able to walk as much. But like I got outside, my husband was waiting for me outside the bathroom, and he was like, I told him, I was like, I really think I lost the baby. I was crying, like a big clog came out, and I'm just like panicking. And so he's like, calm down, like let's what, you want to leave, let's just leave. And I'm like, no, I don't want to leave, because I wanted to stay for the church ceremony. And that was the main reason why I went there, because I wanted to stay for the church ceremony. And I missed it because I couldn't even walk upstairs, because the church was like above the bathroom. And so we stayed downstairs for a while, and I was just praying. I was like, I pray to God like everything's okay. But deep down, like in my mind, I was, well, not in my heart, but like in my mind, back in my mind was like, I lost this baby. And so we stayed there a little bit, and I told him, you know what, I need to go out and lay down a little bit with my legs up, see if the blood stops. So we're walking, and I could barely walk, and it's like a little downhill where we had our stuff, because we would eat there. And so what I did was I put a towel on the floor, and I laid down on the towel with my legs on top, like up like this. And it was like on the ice box. I had my legs on top of the ice box to see if the blood would go. And honestly, it did not help stop the blood. Like the blood just kept coming down. Like I never lost so much blood in my life. Like I laid there for a little bit, and then I had to go to the bathroom again. And I told my husband, like, I need to go to the bathroom right now. So he was like, you sure? Like, you want to go right now? We could leave. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave, And So I walked to the bathroom, and while I'm walking to the bathroom, like I'm feeling the blood like come down. It was so crazy. Like I never, it was just crazy. Like I never bled like that, like never. And so I'm walking up that little hill to go to the bathroom, and my husband's going with me because I couldn't. Like it was getting to the point that I just couldn't, and I'm like, what the hell? So I went, and there I am again, and the blood's just coming down. And so to the point, like I was there, whatever. Then I went back, laid down. I ate. Like after the ceremony finished, my mom and my aunt and stuff, they all came down. We ate, and my cousin actually got a priest to come like bless me and stuff. And he came, and then like I laid a little bit more, and I told my husband, like, let's go to the bathroom. Like I feel like this blood is still coming down. Like, let's go to the bathroom. So he went with me again. And again, like, I was like, I had no strength to walk. Like, it was just getting worse every time. So, sorry, I'm just trying to fix this. Okay. So, it was just getting worse every time. Like, my body was just getting weaker and weaker. And I got to the bathroom, and the same thing was happening. So I told my husband, I was like, look, like, I'm just losing a lot of blood. Like, I couldn't, like, my legs, I couldn't walk. Like, my legs were, like, about to collapse. So I told him, I think the best thing for us to do is actually go straight to the hospital. And he was like, okay, let's go. Like, I've been telling you this, like, let's go. And so we just went and grabbed our stuff. I told my mom, like, my family, that I was going to the hospital. Like I couldn't do it no more. Like I had no strength, and I was just losing a lot of blood. So we went, and I went like the whole ride. It was like about an hour and so to get to the hospital from where we were at. And I went, and I went with my legs on top of the dashboard, and I kind of fell asleep for a little bit. Let me tell you, I had no cramps. I had no cramps at that time. So, it was just like the bleeding. And, while we were going, I wasn't feeling nothing drip or anything like that. And when we got to the hospital, it was so crazy. I checked in or whatever, and I went to the bathroom, and I wasn't bleeding as much anymore. And I'm like, well, what the hell is going on? Like, I was just dripping blood, and now it's like it kind of stopped. So we were there. So we got called in. We were waiting for a pretty long time. We got in, and it was like from the times that I went to the ER, that was like the best time. Like, I mean, not the best time as like, oh yeah, the best time to go to the ER. It was just like the way I was treated there. Like, they treated me really, really good. They actually took me into where the, like the ER emergency room, like, actually where there's, like, a lot of other people there and stuff like that, because all the other times they just put me in, like, a little tiny room, and that was it. And there was, like, doctors that actually came to see me. So they told me to pee on the stick. On the cup, sorry. I peed on the cup, and they did like the urine test to see if I was still pregnant. And the little stick that they put the urine on to check if you're pregnant, my lines were very light. And 2 days before, don't forget, 2 days before I had gone to the hospital, and they were pretty dark. And on Monday, the 27th, they were pretty light. So right there, I was like, okay, like, if they're light, that means like my HCG levels are going down, like I'm losing this baby, or I lost this baby already. And so I waited, and my husband's like, calm down, like that might not mean anything or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I went to do the ultrasound, and when I went to do the ultrasound, they heard a heartbeat again. So the baby was okay. They did blood. So we went back into the room I was in, and they did blood work, and then like my doctor wasn't at the hospital at the time, but she was actually on vacation. But there's a doctor that works for her. Well, not a doctor that works for her. They work together. Like when she's not available, like she helps or whatever. And so she came down to talk to me after like I'd done my blood work and all of that. So my blood work came back, and she said that my HCG levels had lowered since Saturday. Yeah, it was since Saturday. So right there I started like I kind of like I wanted to cry, but I like kind of hold it in because like the doctors and the nurses were there. And she's like, you know, the baby, there's a heartbeat or whatever, but your HCG levels went down. And she told me like, you're losing a lot of blood. So she said if I was to continue to bleed like that they were gonna have to stop the pregnancy. So basically they were gonna have to like do an abortion or something like that, because my life was completely at risk. So it was either I continue to have this bleeding and I would basically either die because I was like losing so much blood, or like a lot of other problems could come and stuff like that. So she just told me like, your life is at risk right now, and if you continue to bleed like this, we're gonna have to, I think it's called terminate your pregnancy or something like that. And she said we're just gonna have to see the next couple of days to see how you're doing, and we'll take it from there. And of course, like she was basically like telling me like, your pregnancy is like threatened miscarriage right now and all of that. So like they basically were telling me like, I was like, my cervix was closed and everything. They checked me, my cervix was closed, but it was just, I was just bleeding so much. And then they still hadn't told me that why I was bleeding. So after that, like I had called my doctor and everything. And I think I can't remember if I went back to the doctor that same week, but I don't think I went to my OB. So at my OB, like I had made an appointment already with my high risk doctor, because I do have an OB, my regular OB, and then I have my high risk doctor. And I had my first appointment with my high risk doctor on June 3rd. So it was like right after Memorial Day, right after I had the bleeding happen. So when I went home, and the bleeding did kind of stop. It didn't completely stop, but it was still like it slowed down. So and I, of course, on my way home from the hospital, like I started crying. I'm like, I'm gonna lose this baby. There's no way. Like my HCG levels are going down. That means I'm going to lose this baby. Like there's no way your levels go down if you're not miscarrying. So that means I'm miscarrying. And like it's just so crazy. Like I had no idea. Like to me, it's like once your levels go down, that means you're miscarrying. That's what happens. So on June 3rd, I went back to I went to my first appointment, my high risk doctor, and I had told them everything that happened. I had been at the hospital and everything, so they checked, and what they did see was I did have like a hemorrhage. I don't remember the name of it, but I will post it right on the screen. And that's what was causing the bleeding. And since I have a bicoordinate uterus, like that other side of my uterus is just like, you know, like, hey, like I'm here, you know, like you're still not completely pregnant, like you're not really pregnant, like your period, whatever. And since I had that like big hemorrhage, I think that's what it's called, it was causing me to bleed. So they just basically told me I was high risk. I hadn't been working since like that first time I started bleeding. Like I stopped working. I was literally like just like be in bed. Not in bed, but I was like on my couch. I see my OB every 3 weeks, and I was seeing my high risk doctor every week because that's how he wanted to see me. So on the 10th, I went back to my high risk doctor. And on June 10th, I went back, and that's when they told me like I had a lot more blood over my baby, like not inside my uterus, but above my uterus, like the outside. Like I had a lot of blood, like on top of where the pregnancy was, and on the side, like on my other side of the uterus. So they basically told me, we just had to pray that my body will start observing all of that blood, because if my body was not to observe the blood, what was going to happen was, if that blood decided to come down all at once, it was going to make me miscarry. Like it was going to bring the pregnancy with it, because it was just so much blood above my uterus. So I was extremely scared. I didn't know like what was going on. I'm like, what is happening? Like, it was just really, really scary. So I just I started praying very hard. And I just kept praying to God that like my body would start observing that blood, because it was just so scary. So the following week, when I went back to the doctor, which was June 17, when I went back to my high risk doctor, they noticed that I had no more blood above my uterus. My body had observed all that blood. So I was so happy. The baby was still okay, like everything was good. And I was super, super happy. And I was like, thank God, like my body observed it. And the baby was growing. The baby's heart rate was like amazing. And so I had like an OB appointment. I can't remember if it was like the following 2 days. I think that was on a Monday, and I think 2 days later I had an appointment with my OB. And since they noticed that the pregnancy was going okay, it was just it was just that thing, you just had to see what happens every day, and just pray for the best, basically. That's when they actually did all that blood work to see if the baby had any sort of problems, if the baby had a possibility of having Down syndrome or stuff like that. So they did 10 things of blood, and I did all of that, and I wanted to do the blood work to find out the gender, but she my insurance would not pay for it. So my doctor told me that if the blood work I was doing was to come back, that there was a possibility that my baby could have Down syndrome or any kind of I don't know, whatever the blood work she did to find out if any of it was to come back that there was a possibility the baby had some sort of health issue or whatever, then that I will be able to do that blood work to find out the gender, because they will just put it in together and say I had to redo it, and they were trying to find out just because of my blood work that needed to be redone, something like that. So thank God all the blood work came back good, and I didn't do the blood work because I would have to pay I don't know if it was $100, $200 I had to pay, and I wasn't going to pay that out of pocket, just because it wasn't something I really needed to know, because I wasn't oh my God, this is what I really want, either a boy or a girl I would be happy with. So we just really wanted to do it. We wanted to do the blood work just because we wanted to do a really nice gender reveal party and stuff like that, but it didn't work that way. We only found out the gender at I think like at 17 weeks or 16, I can't remember if it was like 16 weeks. I think it was like 16, 17 weeks that we found out. And our plan was actually to do the blood work, and we found out and did the gender reveal on my birthday, which was July 3rd. But it didn't happen because by the July 3rd I was 13 weeks. So that's when we really wanted to do it, but it didn't work that way, so it was fine. So basically that's my whole like story of my first trimester. My first trimester was really very like complicated for me. It was very stressful. Well, this whole pregnancy until now, it has been very stressful. But of course, like I'll have my other updates of my other weeks, but this is really just from what happened from like since I found out I was pregnant to my 12th week. So yeah, that's literally what happened. So I'll do until 13 weeks. So like 13 weeks was like every Tuesday I'm 1 week ahead. So every Tuesday. So on July 2nd, I turned 13 weeks, and then July 3rd was my birthday, and I was okay. But on my birthday, I started having really bad cramps. Like I just got out of nowhere. Like these cramps came out of nowhere, and they were really, really bad. And I even thought like I wasn't gonna do a birthday party or anything, and it was my 30th birthday. I was planning to do something like not big, but I wanted to invite like my friends and stuff like that. But it didn't work out because I really couldn't do anything. I was basically in bed rest. So I really couldn't do much. My mom just like did something at her house, like barbecue and stuff, and we just had like the closest family go. But besides that, everything that I went through, my symptoms, they were like regular. I had none really. I wasn't nauseous, just like that first week that I said, like my 5th week, the 5th week that I was pregnant. That's when I had the nausea and all of that, but that was about it. I never threw up. I think I only threw up, I think it was the second time we went to the ER, and that's because we went to the hospital, and I think from the car ride and everything, I was just like so nauseous, and as soon as I got home, I threw up. But I think that was it. And then that was it. Like I have no cravings, like until now. I still don't have any cravings really. So that's about it. That was like my update for my first trimester. I'm sorry if it's really long. It's just I really wanted to share with you guys what I was going through, because I know a lot of people that know me, they really didn't know what was going on. So and I never really talked about it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Now those of you that do know me know exactly what I was going through. It wasn't easy. It's been a lot of tears, but this little baby boy is like, as well, if you guys don't know, I am having a boy, and I did post a gender reveal video. It wasn't the way we wanted to share it with everybody, but that's how it turned out. Hopefully next time it will be a better gender reveal. But we are having a boy, and this little boy is very strong. He's fighting hard, and I'm fighting hard for him. So it is what it is, and I'm super happy I've gotten to where I've gotten, and I can continue to pray. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing my update for 14 weeks to like 18 weeks, or 14 weeks to like 19 or 20 weeks. Yeah, I'll just do the 14 to 20 weeks, and then we'll just be like almost up to date, because I am 22 weeks. So stay tuned for that video. It'll be coming out like very shortly. So I'm gonna try to edit this video as soon as possible, and hopefully you guys will see this soon. So today is Friday, and I hope I get this by tomorrow up. If not, by Monday this should be up. And stay tuned for the other one. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.